Bub Nation.
You.
Wow.
Yeah, something missing there.
There is something missing there. Didn't hit quite the same.
Or maybe it's not missing. Maybe that's the way we should just do it.
Maybe that's how we have to change it now.
I think, maybe, it was different, but different can be good.
It always is.
Yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It's DNVR Buffs Primetime. Actually, it's the DNVR pregame show today. Uncle Neely in the house. We are presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. What is up, everyone in the Toyota chat? What is up, Unc? How you doing, man?
Man, doing good, man. Let me tell you this. What a beautiful day in Colorado. I'm telling you, man, north of 70, pleasant slight breeze. Fifth practice today, but first practice outside. What a day. Beautiful.
It was absolutely beautiful outside.
Yeah.
We had to wait a little bit today for press conferences. Honestly, I'm not really complaining because I just got to soak up the sun and hang out.
Hey, practice went long because it was so beautiful. No one wanted to stop.
Love it. Let's get to it, man. Day 5 of practice. We got a scrimmage coming up on Saturday. We'll preview that in the second segment. And then we'll talk about this proposed college football Super League. If you saw that, this article came out from The Athletic. We'll get to all that, but we got to start with day 5 of spring football. Beautiful day, of course. Yep. But just tell the people, I guess, who won, offense or defense today?
I'm going to go with offense today. I'm going to go with the offense. I think early on in practice there was a little back and forth as far as who was getting the better of each other, the best of each other. But as practice was getting deep into practice and grinding on, the offense certainly got the better of the defense, and not just through the air but on the ground.
Love that. We'll get to the ground aspect, but we were talking about this on the car, and you said it just 5 days in, and we've alternated every single day, every practice, who has won defense or offense. To me, that's a great sign.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This time last year, one group was more dominant than the other for consecutive practices. I think what is happening here, man, is these guys, take it personal. Mm-hmm. And so when the defense gets the better of the offense, that next practice from the coordinator, down to the third guys, they're dialed in and ready to go at it. And so you've been having this back and forth between them. Iron sharpens iron. I think that's the competition you want. Now that the pads are on, there's some thudding out there, not true tackling, and unless you're Shiloh Sanders, and he still sends a headache every now and then. But these guys are competing, man, and I think that today with the offense winning, I'm looking forward to practice 6, which is going to be a scrimmage this weekend. I bet you the defense is going to be ready.
I love it. You said it. Iron sharpens iron. That's exactly what that sounds like when you hear that they're alternating better days, offense, defense. You mentioned Shiloh. He laid a massive hit on Michael Welsh a few days ago. Yeah. But Michael Welsh turning heads today, huh? Yeah,
man. The way this thing is set up, Coach Prime loves to see the ones go against the twos against ones. And so, freshman running back, so he's out there with the second group or the third group, but he'll be going against defense 1. And, he was getting that pad level down and initiating the thud. I liked what I saw out of him.
I love that. The chat loves Michael Welsh. He's already like a fan favorite. But this is just another player in this running back rotation who, he gives you something different than the other guys, right? Dylan's your speed guy. He's going to be, breaking screens. He's going to be running the ball, of course. Alto's like your all-around guy. But Michael Welsh and Savion are like hammers.
Yeah, they are. And you got to see Dylan somewhat operating in the slot today or coming out the backfield, for a screen. Some of those plays were there when he was out there with the one offense. But today was also a focus on red zone, not only for the offense but, of course, for the defense as well. And what Micah and what Savion were able to do in those yardage situations, ball on the 19, and they busted and go score. It wasn't like ball on the 3-yard line they scored. Like they were getting after it, man. So I was impressed with what I saw from the running backs. That's not taking anything away from Shador and the receivers, but they have been consistent. So you've been seeing that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but the running back showed up today.
That's what I was going to ask you, was about Shador in the passing game. Then, just how does it look, and then can you even compare it to this time last year?
Let me tell you the the big difference between the passing game now versus last year. When Coach Livingston sends an all-out blitz, it's getting picked up. Mm-hmm. And Shedeur has a cleaner pocket with everybody coming. You only feel like three people are coming.
Right.
He's got time now, for routes to develop and get guys, down the field. So I think that's a clear-cut difference.
I love it. And then this receiving core, probably still as advertised, I'd imagine, just making plays all over the field.
Still as advertised, and we just got to keep in mind everybody ain't here.
Yep.
So when you're impressed with the route running that you're seeing, you look at Caleb Mathis is out there, just Mr. Consistency. Nickname is 7-11 now because he's always open, and he catches everything.
Yeah.
But the best is yet to come, and so you're going to have a lot of competition and depth in that room when we truly get into summer conditioning and going into fall ball in August. But right now, those guys, even with low numbers, are holding their own.
I love it, man.
Travis practiced on defense today.
Okay.
Yeah, so he wasn't one of the receivers.
I love it, man. I mean, everything – we've talked about this a ton basically since you got back for spring, just how closer the team is, but just how much further ahead of schedule we are, especially compared to last year. I mean, of course, the roster, redo was the big topic last spring, and it was coming. We didn't know exactly to what extent this time last year, but I just feel like we're so ahead of schedule. You're there, am I right?
Oh, yeah. When you, I think we're ahead of schedule, just treating this team as its own entity. Mm-hmm. But when you look back to where we were last year and trying to get installs and trying to get chemistry, trying to get relationships developed, all those different nuances. Nowhere near where we are today. We were well behind. The clock was ticking. And in football, the clock is the enemy. You never have enough time. But right here in this space, it really feels as if we are on schedule or ahead of schedule as far as where we should be execution-wise or the way the schemes are being picked up, the installs are being done, to be on practice 5.
It's awesome, man. We had George Hegman on the podium today.
Yeah, Big George.
One of the newest hires. I'll get into what he said here, but what have you just seen from him just fitting into this environment and just, I guess, coaching, but also not really coaching because his role is leadership and development.
Yeah, it's more so of a life coach. Mm-hmm. Anybody in the building is going to have an impact on these young men and their development. Some of that impact is on the field in direct football coaching. Other parts of that, such as with Coach Chaney, may be in the more, academic or leadership development with George. But I smile when you said fitting in because imagine him fitting in. This dude is huge.
That man is massive.
This is a big dude, man. If I say a dude is big, this is a big dude.
Yeah.
He takes up the whole door frame. But his personality, his charisma, when he speaks to the team, he's another guy in the building that can tell you how to get there because he was there. Mm-hmm. He was with the Cowboys a year before Coach Prime came along, Go Cowboys. And so they developed a relationship from there. Worked at IMG, knows how to get guys, from high school to D1 ball, to the league. So that's his forte, is building professionals, not just on the field but off the field. His chemistry, his charisma with the young men is all, you can see it. It feels like, although he's been here a week, it feels like he's been here day one, because he's just, as you said, fitting right in.
I love it. He hopped on the podium.
No, he didn't hop on the podium.
Well,
there'd be no podium.
He took over the podium.
He took over the tent.
He did, yes. You'll see it in our press conference video. The beginning's kind of cut up because Ryan Cotter, our social guy, he had to take the phone off the tripod and hold it up higher because George Hegman is so big.
He is, man. Wide, tall, muscular, this dude. He's built like one of those guys in the World's Strongest Man competition.
Yeah, he really is.
Forget that bench press stuff. Who can haul that mountain?
Right, yeah. Who could pick up a 200-pound boulder and just carry it over there?
Yeah, those he looks like one of those dudes. Big boy, man.
I asked him, how did this come about? How'd you end up at Colorado? He said, working with Prime, that's something that they always talked about, something that they always thought would happen. He says, I got to know him obviously throughout his career, playing and coaching. He said, Coach Prime is someone who cares more than just what the average person thinks. And this is what we've heard about Coach Prime going back to the second he got here, basically. He said we hit it off from there, and that basically matriculated over to our relationship today. We always kept in contact. We ran a youth organization back in Dallas starting in 2008, assuming that was prime truth. And we eventually knew we would work together at one point, so that's how we ended up here. On his responsibilities, he said, my role as a director of leadership and engagement is to tell the kids or help the kids with their transition to be the pros one day. I just lost it. 1 second, sorry.
Take your time. We're live.
He said the difference between a player and a pro is going to attack his plan and have a plan every single day. I've made that transition from high school to college to pros, and won a Super Bowl. And he knows just what it took. He said he's got 11 first-round draft picks, I think, right?
Yeah.
Trent Williams he worked with, coached with him too. J.C. Latham he worked with, who's going to be a first-round draft pick this year. He said, this is something that's my lifeblood. I love coaching, love working with kids, love working with young staff members. It matters when you have people in the building and not just know what they're doing, but love what they're doing.
Absolutely. And it starts at the top of Coach Prime. You know, I've never seen more of a we guy get confused with being an I guy. Everybody thinks Deion Sanders, Coach Prime Time, whichever one of the three entities you want to look at is about himself or the light being on him. But it's really the complete opposite. He's about, exposing other folks, getting them opportunity, giving them a place to shine. And what he does and the staff he's hired to do that for these young people, because even as dynamic as we want this Colorado team to be, which is going to be, everybody's not going pro.
Right.
But everybody's going to be exposed on how to become a professional at whatever life path you choose. And George knows how to do that. He knows how to create success. He's that guy on the staff, that has an open door. So any player can come and see him and talk to him and kind of lay out a blueprint of where you're trying to go and how we can help you get there, which is nothing to do with football, but everything to do with football. Definitely.
Of course. He was asked about his time at IMG. He was the offensive line coach there for a while. And he said, IMG is unique in the sense that none of the kids originate from Bradenton, Florida. It's like 99% of them originate from different parts of the country, even the world for that matter. So being able to bring those kids together, form a team, and then have them be successful as a team after only getting them just like the transfer portal. You might have some kids in January, you might get some kids in May, but you got to formulate a team that's up to win when their season comes. So it was a great experience. That's pretty much it. He was asked about Jordan Seaton. He said he left IMG really before Jordan got there, but said the kid is working his ass off, and, man, he's been as advertised, it seems, too.
Yeah, he has, which we have discussed on this show. But going back another, just George thing about that professional development, when you see these guys that come out of IMG, like they're ready, because they're trained for the camera, the spotlight. Yeah. They're trained to execute, on the field. And he was, part of that process while he was there. The other thing I love that he brings to the table is that, we're in this building together, and you may have people who are direct coaches, on the field, but the other people who are in the building, they still can impart knowledge to these guys without directly coaching them. And so you have an NFL offensive lineman in the building. Doesn't matter if he's not coaching offensive line or directly coaching offensive line. I mean, he rides in the elevator. Yeah. He sits down and has lunch, so conversations take place about how can I be more successful I'm doing. And so when you look at the acumen of this staff and their NFL experience and their professional development experience, it's second to none in college football.
I love what he said about IMG Academy, and I never thought of it this way, but it makes so much sense. And, we talk about George Hegman and him coming to Colorado and, potentially reinforcing or further building that IMG pipeline, right? Jordan Seaton kind of being the start of that, but we've got some other guys on the staff or on the team, and guys are coming to visit from IMG too. But it's just like college football right now in terms of the transfer portal era. Like, you're bringing kids in from all over, and it's almost like every year you have a new team that you've got to learn strengths, weaknesses, how they gel, all that stuff on the fly.
I'm smirking because I remember a year ago sitting here and the chat being fired up when we talked about how this roster was going to flip over. And people were saying, well, how the hell is Coach Prime going to build a team in a couple of months? And Coach Prime's response was, what do you think happens in the NFL? You have a draft, you have free agency, you have retirement. There's a new roster on every NFL team, every year, and those guys come together because there's a process on how you build a team. And George knows how to do that. Coach Prime knows how to do that. Kevin Mathis knows how to do that. Mm-hmm. The list goes on and on. They know how to take people that I've only known you for a year, but I can put you in this system where this can be the best year you've ever played.
Yep.
And that's the nature of college football. There's no more coaching somebody 4 years, 5 years. I mean, 3 tops, but, really most of this stuff in the portal, you're going to have a guy a year or two.
Well, that's just what's so crazy to me, especially, the people who are still standing on their soapbox going, Coach Prime can't do this every year. You can't always do it in the portal. When you have these high school programs who are literally doing it every year, and
the NFL does it every year.
The NFL does it every year, but now you're bringing in guys from the NFL, from IMG. Like, you're literally connecting the pipeline here at Colorado while also doing the same thing. So you're really preparing them for, what they're going to face in the NFL, or they're already familiar with it because they were at IMG.
And, at the end of the day, the portal is about opportunity. And the reason a Coach Prime can do this every year is there's going to always be somebody looking for an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And as he has shown his coaching acumen just in year 1 to go from 1 win to 4 wins, and 3 of those losses, were less than 7-point losses.
Yep.
So people see the coaching acumen is there. They see the acumen and talent of the staff. You're damn right he could do it in the portal every year, because there's going to be someone looking for more or better opportunity every year in college football.
Definitely, man. All right, let's look ahead to Saturday. But first, a word from our wonderful new friends over at Toyota. Trucks have been a part of Toyota's DNA for generations. They built durable legends destined for greatness, and it's perfect for Colorado. They probably even make trucks that Coach Hegman could fit in.
It's going to rock when he gets in and out of it, though. But I believe in him.
For sure. But you guys know what it is. Toyotas are the best. They're super reliable. They got tons of different makes and models. Hybrids. They got their sports. You got your Supras. You can also have the super reliable and versatile 4Runner as well. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial. Corwin Toyota in Boulder. Groove Toyota in Littleton. Mountain States Toyota in Denver. Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and is the official vehicle of DNVR.
And you know what you never see?
What's up?
A Toyota on the side of the road.
You never do.
They last forever and don't break.
They're the best at that, man. I have so many friends that have had a Toyota for 15-plus years now at this point.
Yeah.
And it was their parents before it was theirs. Also, shout out to the people over at True Fan Travel. These guys are going to be the ones who help us out with all our trips this year. So we told you yesterday we are going to have a Lincoln trip coming. I know a lot of people have asked about that, and we are going to have more on the way too. Not quite ready to reveal all of them yet, but in due time, you guys will hear exactly what trips we have. So you can come hang out with us on the road. We're going.
I love hanging out with you on the road, man.
It's a fun time,
isn't it?
It really
is a fun time. You're a fun road guy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, even when you have a bucket of vodka, it just.
I mean, you had a bucket of vodka too.
Yeah,
night.
But you started it. I couldn't let you finish long.
I mean, when in Tempe, Arizona, and the wind total hits,
That's what we do. Buckets of vodka.
But True Fan Travel's the best. They're going to get you all hooked up on all of our plans this year. Be on the lookout for DNVR Buffs road trips. Brought to you by True Fan Travel. Sign-ups for away games are coming very, very soon.
Looking forward to that, man.
I can't wait, man. Yeah. Even just this spring stuff, it makes me so eager for the season.
That's what was so beautiful about today, to be outside.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is football.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Let me say this. Look at my camera. God bless the IPF, the indoor practice facility. You got to have it in Boulder, Colorado. Yeah. But when there comes a day like today and you can get outside on the grass and it's sunny and 72, zero humidity, no bugs, man, it's football.
We really can't overdo how beautiful it was today. I mean, it was perfect.
It is. It lets me know next week we're going to have a crappy day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just how it kind of works in Colorado sometimes.
I'm used to it, man. It's been a year and a half now. I got it down.
All right, let's get to the scrimmage, man. You'll be there, of course.
Yeah. Which means you're there. Which means DNVR is there. It's partnership.
We'll have a little content and stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Make sure you stay tuned to the pregame show on Saturday. Stay up to date with everything that happens there. I'll get to, what the coaches are looking for and all that. What are you looking for in this scrimmage that maybe you haven't seen the first 5 days, or maybe you have seen it, you just want to see it more?
Gotcha. I think it's going to be in concert with what the coach is looking for. And let me say this. Here's my challenge, my eyesight challenge. This team is so much better than we were this time last year. Mm-hmm. I can't rest on that. I can't rest on that this offensive line compared to last year's offensive line is so much better that I don't continue to evaluate them on their potential versus the actual of last year. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to be looking for are these guys rising to the occasion of their potential, or not just resting on, well, we're a better group now, that's all we needed. No, we need more. We need everybody, 100% and balled out. And because this is a scrimmage, the other thing I'm looking for is a lack of penalties. We were one of the most penalized teams last year, and they came at the most inopportune times. They were game-changing penalties. And so I'm looking, how clean can we play early on in the practices, because it's just that'll be practice 6. Mm-hmm. But how clean can we play, and we're kind of going by the rules and not just a practice tempo where coaches on the field and the stopping things. But how can we play some clean football? Because even when you see videos such as whether they're on Reach the People or Will Off Media, you'll see things that fans celebrate. Like, okay, Mario Miller caught that touchdown the other day. Yeah. What did he do with the ball?
I can't remember.
He hit a guy. He threw it at a guy.
That's right. Yeah, he threw it at the DB.
Now, fans love it.
Yeah.
What if that score put us up by 2? Now you got a penalty. The team is almost starting off in field goal range.
Yep.
Like, we can't do that kind of stuff. Like, we got to have a tighter margin of error. Well, the margin of error is too tight to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for clean football. I'm looking for effort. Now that we're going to be fully pads and beyond thudding, the intensity from this D-line and O-line battle as well.
I love that, man. That's kind of an overlooked aspect of spring football and, like, fall camp in general, is the more, like, finer aspects that actually cost you on game days, penalties.
Yeah. I'm sorry, when we're out there practicing special teams now, there's nobody calling holding.
Right.
Yeah. And so you can develop a skill set where you think you're balling out, but you're holding. And again, that flips the field. You just had an excellent run by Dylan Edwards. Now it's coming all the way back. So I want to see how clean we can play an officiated scrimmage.
But it's like the clip of the first person cam when Coach was at practice the other day when the fumble happened, right? Yeah. And Gant falls on the ball, and he's like telling you, no, this is a teaching moment here. Teammates, we got to cover up our guy because in a game,
great point.
If Gant falls on the ball, there's going to be 4 other offensive linemen and a wide receiver trying to rip it out, even if he's already on the ground.
Yeah, and that's a point of emphasis from the coaches going into practice, and specifically this scrimmage, is everybody get to the ball. Yeah. Like, when you see the play, don't assume the play is dead. We need every teammate going toward the ball, and don't be late getting there, or there could be some repercussions from the decision. So, again, that hustle, that effort, and how clean we can play. But excellent point with that Gant example.
Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Coach Livingston, he's said it a lot. This is the players' defense, right? He's going to rely a lot on the players, as he should, obviously. But he's trying to get the best 11 out there at all times. And it feels like he's really just letting them come into the defense as their own. Of course, he's teaching the defense, but it's kind of coming as the players learn it, right? And so what is he looking for, do you think, in this practice, just defensively?
I asked him that, and I should have shot it to Alyssa. We could hit play on it right there. He's looking for that effort and looking for improvement. And here's how he measures improvement. He's good with mistakes. We can't keep making the same mistake.
Yeah.
And one thing I love about his install environment is, and you heard Bentley say this, I think at his presser, he doesn't move on until you got it.
Right.
A lot of times coaches have their schedule and where we should be by now, and damn it, we're going to be there with or without you.
Yep.
The way Coach Livingston operates in his defensive room is we're not moving. It's almost like a math class in elementary school. We're not going to the next part of math until you got this, because the foundation has to be right.
Yep.
There's no way you can do geometry and you can't add and subtract. Like, we got to start with the basics. But his philosophy of having the best 11 out there and calling schemes that accentuate their strengths, hide their weaknesses, you just can't ask for a better outlook or perception, vision, game plan for how defense should be. But I love how he's like, look, man, Neely, I'm good if we make mistakes Saturday. That's what spring ball is. But I don't want us making the mistakes Saturday that we made Tuesday or Thursday.
Right.
We need to build this process, clean up, and move on.
So last year under Coach Kelly, the safeties were like the whole secondary, really, but the safeties specifically were like the best position group on the defense, right?
Yeah.
Most impactful. This year, just so far under Coach Livingston, I mean, we've got guys who are definitely ready to make the jump. Shiloh, Jaden Milner-Jones, Cam, all those guys. But how much of this defense is built around the secondary? Is it similar to last year?
Let me tell you this. Here's another reason, Jake, you're just in the playbook, man. Like, you're
I
there.
love it. Let's go.
You're there. Another reason I should have shot a list of the super dope producer of this video. As I'm getting ready to interview Coach Livingston, Shiloh walks up and takes over the interview. And you know what Shiloh said? He said, man, because the scheme is so good, I'm not getting a lot of action. Like, I'm back there like truly playing safety because the defensive line, the linebackers are eating everything up. And, you look back at last year, do you really want your safety to be the leading tackler on the team?
No.
And so when we talk about how productive the secondary was with the safeties, I mean, why is Shiloh tackling the running back? Like, he got past the D-line, he got past the linebacker. So I think that kind of thing is going to dissipate and disappear this year. And so, there's still ball hawks back there. Like, Cam is back there, Shiloh is back there. Even with Trevor going down the linebacker, he can roll out and cover somebody because he has done that. But there's not a lot of safety action, as Shiloh would call it, because of the scheme we're playing and how well we're damn playing it.
That's a good sign, man.
It is. The name of the position is safety. Like,
right.
No one should get behind you.
Yep. Last line of defense.
Yeah. Yep. If you're playing great ball, it should be boring back there.
Yep. Offensively, man, there's so much to get into just from last year. First off, Pat Shurmur, you kind of have some of that continuity.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start there. As the offense is beginning to take shape, how similar does it seem to last year's?
I don't think there's a lot of similarity at all. I think, Coach Shurmur went from being analyst to co-coordinator to now coordinator, and I think you're seeing the offense he wants to install, the offense, as from his mindset and experience. And, again, it's much like the DC based on the talent that we have. And so the talent that we have, who are we talking about? We're talking about Shedeur Sanders. So we're going to be doing things that he likes to do. Who do we have? We have Travis Hunter, receivers. So we're going to be taking the top off of defenses back there. We got Dylan Edwards and Savion Wilkerson. And so we got a running game as well. And now we got an offensive line. What I'm loving about this offense, starting at the top, is Coach Shurmur is working with Shedeur to do things better. Now, this is like a generational talent quarterback, but he's not resting on that. He's pointing out things like, hey, let's clean this up, let's do that. Jason Phillips in the wide receiver room, people were commenting on the video we did on the pregame show with inside the wide receivers.
Yeah.
And you see Jason Phillips aggressively coaching Travis Hunter, not just resting on his talents, because your top guys can get better too. And if you have them improved and you have other people improve, this is just a better offense. I think individual positions across the board, we're more talented than we were last year, including with our most talented people. Shedeur Sanders is healthy and more talented. Travis Hunter is healthy and more talented. Dylan Edwards has put on muscle and gotten faster. Everything is improved, man.
Man, you're getting me excited just to see what comes out on Saturday now. We got to talk about the offensive line, of course.
Yes.
We kind of talked about the running game a bit. I guess let's just start here. They're a unit, right?
Yeah.
Are the five acting as one right now? And just how much more cohesive does it seem for the group compared to last year?
I think they're so cohesive that the 10 are operating as one.
Wow.
You got a room of say, let's call it 13 guys, but you got, through attrition and health issues, that kind of thing, you may have an active 10 that you're practicing with. And I think those 10, are operating, as a unit. Even today, you had offensive linemen, huddling up the team and speaking to the team and saying, hey, we got to clean this up. We got to do this after practice. That's something you didn't have last year. I think they're individually talented. I think they're coming together collectively. And I also think that just like, say, the linebacker room or the receiver room, I don't think we're done building there.
Yeah,
I think that between right now today and say June 1st, you're going to have a couple more guys show up.
There's guys entering the portal right now. A guy from Arkansas entered this week that was an SEC freshman All-American.
Yeah. So I don't think it's over. I think we've gotten better, and I think we're going to get better before when spring ball ends.
The run game last year was very bad. One of the worst in the nation. Just to put it bluntly.
Don't hold back, Jake.
I know it's kind of difficult right now because you see it in just the videos you guys put out where a run kind of breaks to the second level. The whistle's always getting kind of blown early, right? You don't want any major collisions. But what do you think of it so far? How does it look? Does it look more diverse than it was last year?
I think it looks more diverse because Pat Shermer has a creative scheme and when he likes to call things. So I think that comparative to last year, we're going to have more deliberate runs, more intentional runs, be able to control the clock way better than we did when we have these leads. When you look at the Stanford game, had we been able to run the ball, they can't do that.
Of course.
Because we're managing the clock.
Yep.
We're passing, and the pass is incomplete, clock stops. That's what was giving them opportunity. So, but I'll also say this, as pleased I am with the effort I'm seeing from the backs and Coach Flea having them dialed in, we can't forget, we got Shedeur Sanders at quarterback.
Yep.
And we got Travis Hunter, out there, and you got other powerhouse dogs coming in. We're going to throw the ball, so.
Oh, yeah.
But I just think now, because of the offensive coordinator, the talent, and specifically the offensive line, hey, y'all got to understand out there, these guys love run blocking more than they like pass blocking.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you go forward blocking for the run.
Yes.
You back up by blocking for the pass. So these guys love to run block, and we're going to have some deliberate runs, which I think was one of the things that was missing last year. One of the problems we couldn't run the ball is because we couldn't block.
Yeah, man, it's probably it's one of those things you're not going to really get a true answer, I guess, until week 1 when it's against another team, right?
Yeah.
How does the run game look? But from everything, just that you've shared and I've seen and heard, it seems like it's come a long way just compared to last year.
Yeah, it has. I think the focus is there. I think the attention is there. I think the desire and want to there schematically. And the guys, let's say Dylan, Savion, Alto, McCaskill, I think they're all eager for their shot and situation. But I also think that the guy like Micah ain't sitting there saying, hey, man, I ain't conceding nothing to y'all.
Yep.
I'm going to get this rock.
Backup quarterback. We hope we don't see the backup quarterback this year. But it's one of the, I guess, fiercer competitions on the team right now, I'd
Absolutely.
say.
I would say that was the margin of error between 2 and 3, QB2 and QB3 is the slimmest on the team.
Really?
I right now, there's no doubt in my mind it's Ryan Staub's job. Because of what he was able to do at the end of the season, coming back with that experience, I think he is QB2. But I also think that ain't just etched in stone, And I also think we're going to be looking for a quarterback in the portal as well.
All right.
I really do believe that. I think that you got to have some depth there. I think you got to have it where, guys can do the scout team efforts and you got enough unit QBs to practice with, and for the, God forbid, injury that could potentially happen at the position. You need that. So I think depth-wise we're going to be looking for a QB, but it's interesting to see when I'm watching the 2s and the 3s because, again, the 2s are going against the 1s.
Right.
You like to see Staub's command of the offense. And frankly, as I've told you about the running game, they move the ball on the 1s. Like when the offense is out there with the 2s, that run game is when the 2 offenses out there, going against the one defense, they have success.
How's the center competition been looking?
I can't say I've seen a competition,
Okay.
I think we have enough guys there that can fit, kind of plug and play the old computer days, that you got, center by committee. I'm leaning and saying it's Tyler's job, based on what I see at practice and even post-practice.
Yeah.
But I also think that, some of those guard positions are interchangeable. Should fatigue or injury happen, you got some depth. And as I indicated, looking for more. So if you think about that portal, Colorado's a good home, man.
Love it. That was great.
I mean, wouldn't you love to be an offensive lineman, tight end, receiver for a Heisman Trophy quarterback? Jason Phillips, who is the coach of our wide receivers, was an All-American, led the nation, that year in receptions down at the University of Houston. And his quarterback was Andre Ware that won the Heisman.
Yep.
And as Coach Phillips will tell you, anytime you got a Heisman quarterback, somebody's got to catch the damn ball. He's throwing to somebody.
Yep.
And typically those are great receivers who get to go to the NFL as well. So, man, if I was looking at this offense from afar and thinking about where I want to land, I would want to be a part of this, particularly if I'm a one-year guy. Like, man, this is teed up.
I love this because, like, last year around this time, I feel like we were looking forward to the portal opening, right? Yeah. And this year, it's more of like, oh, yeah, the portal's opening type of thing.
Last year, you had to have it.
Yes.
This year, it's what we down south in Mississippi and Louisiana call lanyap. It's just a little something extra,
Yeah.
You're supposed to get one sausage with that po' boy, and they throw another one in there just, or you go to Wendy's and get some fries and look up and there's 2 onion rings in there.
Yeah.
Just a little lanyap.
Let's go.
We're going to lanyap this offensive line. We need 1 or 2 extra.
All right. Let's move on. That was great. Can't wait for Saturday, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day. I haven't checked the weather, though.
I'll check it right now for you.
Let's see what we're dealing with. Today would have been a perfect scrimmage day.
It really would have. Looks like Saturday you might be in the IPF. A little chillier, maybe a little windy.
No.
52 is the high.
Yeah, we're probably going to be in IPF.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Shout out to our great friends over at Breckenridge Brewery, the official craft beer of DNVR. They got a beer for every occasion. Come down to the DNVR bar. Come hang out with us.
Beer's amazing.
It's the best, isn't it?
Beer's amazing. You got to have beer in your life, man.
You have to. And make sure it's Breckenridge. Try some of our favorites, the Mountain Beach Sour. It's basically my favorite time of the year because it's Mountain Beach Sour season. That is my favorite Breck brew. And
you had it circled on your calendar?
Yeah.
Like you got Nebraska and beer date circled. Yeah.
I mean, it just hits different in the warm weather. Days like today, man. It really does.
I love it.
But we got beers on tap, beers and cans here at the bar. Check out their beer locator to find a Breck brew near you at breckbrew.com. Wherever you are in the country, use that and you can get the delicious Breck brew. Also, shout out to, you ready for this one, Unc?
Give it to me.
Raising Cane's.
Oh, man.
How about that?
That's hey, man, for me, that's up there beyond Toyota.
Let's go, man. You guys know what it is. Race in for delicious chicken finger meals served up fast at Raising Cane's. It's delicious. It's craveable. That sauce is to die for. It's probably the best sauce I've ever had in my life.
You can just put your straw in the sauce container.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Just do sauce shots.
Order up tender chicken fingers, crispy crinkle cut fries, and buttery Texas toast. Don't forget that creamy coleslaw and the secret cane sauce. Find your local Raising Cane's location. Order on mobile or online. For cooked to order, ham battered chicken fingers, Raising Cane's. Turbocharge your chicken fingers and get them even faster by ordering at raisingcanes.com or through their mobile app, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Let's go.
Yeah, man. And thankfully, like, you and I in RK are some of those few people who knew to put up some extra 2 sauce. So
yep.
I still got some Shador Sanders barbecue sauce I can put on my cane.
I've got a few bottles of that as well. Still.
Yeah.
All right. Guys in the Toyota chat, drop your questions. We'll get to them after this segment. This dropped yesterday, Unc, and I told you about it for the first time in the car.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the article. I heard the concept, but I hadn't seen the article.
So this is from Andrew Marchand and Stuart Mandel of The Athletic. Headline is Inside the College Football Super League, one powerful group's idea to fix a doomed system. So basically what happened here, several college presidents, Roger Goodell's primary lieutenant at the NFL, and some of sports' top executives have devised a plan dubbed by outsiders as a super league to completely transform college football. The group is called CST. It's a 20-person group. It also includes the NFL's number 2 executive, Brian Rolap, Philadelphia 76ers owner David Blitzer, and league organizer Len Perna of Turnkey ZRG. This is their search firm helps find all the commissioners for the top conferences.
Okay.
But this committee came together, the CST, and they proposed this system. This system would have the top 70 programs, all members of the 5 former major conferences. So even Washington State, Oregon State, who've been left out right now.
Yeah.
Plus Notre Dame and the new ACC member in SMU as permanent members, and kind of encompassing all 130 plus FBS universities as well. They would divide themselves into 7 10-team divisions, joined by an 8th division of teams that would be promoted from the second tier. So kind of like English soccer or just soccer around the world. Relegation and promotion in a way.
And I'm nodding as if I know everything about soccer. So,
so yeah, that's what it all comes down to. College football's in a weird place right now.
yeah, it's going to get weirder.
It is going to get weirder, this being one of them. This right here in the article says, chief among the obstacles this new venture faces are the billions of dollars in TV deals that all the top conferences have locked in with major networks. ESPN/ABC, Fox, NBC, and CBS. The FBS conferences recently signed off on a new 6-year, $7.8 billion extension with ESPN for exclusive rights to the expanded CFP. The Big Ten's deal runs through 29-30, the Big 12's through 30-31, the SEC's with ESPN through 33-34, and the ACC is like 37. It's outrageous. So, yeah. Go ahead.
Now I'm saying, yeah, it's gonna be about TV money. And thereby even stream money as that continues to grow. I think this quote-unquote super conference is absolutely going to happen one day.
Yes.
I think that with the demise of the Pac-12, even in a year that the Pac-12 was at its highest, you had all those teams ranked in a conference that was going away. I think it's just inevitable that some of these programs that you now look at are in the Power Four are going to be treated like mid-majors in the future because it's going to be a focus on, I think what you just read is like politically correct ambition.
Right.
We're going to include this, we're going to include that. It's fair, but
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. That's the sales pitch. That's what you roll out to get the buy-in. But this is going to be 20 guys on this side, 20 guys on that side, and it's the 40 programs that everybody truly associate football with, and everybody else is just going to be, cannibalized, for lack of a better description, for lower-tier television or streaming networks. I think that's where we're absolutely headed as a sport.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, there's a lot in play right now with the transfer portal, with NIL. It sounds like this group is – of course, they're trying to unite college football. That's like the main basis here.
Sure.
But they're trying to get a handle on some of these issues too. And with the NFL being involved, at least some of their top executives, I think that's a good sign because I think you could see something similar to a true free agency period, right? Maybe a true salary cap or like salary is not the right word, I guess, but like NIL pool, right? Or collective pool to make sure that you kind of level up the playing field a bit more, but also, as you were saying, college football, I think it's inevitable that you're just going to have a cream of the crop, like 10, 15 teams that are just always better than everyone else.
Absolutely. And that is going to be, to some degree, be it small or large, attached to there are only so many schools that can truly afford to sustain collectives and NILs. And the rest, not that they can't do it, they just can't do it at that level, to compete. And so as you're going to have TV money driving, you're going to have the ability to individually fundraise driving it. And here's something I think that's coming, Jake, and it's, called the conspiracy theory. This is years down the road. We're in America.
Yes.
America is directly attached to capitalism.
Yes.
You kind of get what you pay for, and what you pay for has to have a true value to it, or someone's pissed off. That's why you sign a lease for your apartment. Both people have rights, contractual rights. You pay me this, I provide you this. And I know the NCAA is, no pay for play, no pay for play. I get it. But at some point down the road, as you approach this super conference, when you have that kind of television money pouring in or individual private money pouring in, people are going to want what they're paying for.
Yeah.
And right now, a kid can get the bag and it's not attached to performance. There's no job in America that works that way.
Right.
And so at some point, that part of the system is going to implode. And I think like what these guys are putting together addresses that before that happens.
Yes.
Because we're going to truly treat these players like professionals, and there's going to be some kind of contract to it and some kind of, scale payment there, because otherwise it's not sustainable.
Right. I mean, you say all that, and it sounds – this is just the road we've been heading down, but amateurism is kind of leaving college sports.
Oh, it's done.
Especially college football.
Yeah, it's done. And prepare to get mad at me, everybody. That student and student athlete is leaving too.
Right, yeah.
Because as these super conferences form, or in the days now the Power Four, and you have conference mates who are literally on the other side of the country, you're not in class.
No.
Like, let's stop it.
Right.
Like, your class schedule is not the priority in college sports anymore.
But there's an initiative, it sounds like, from some very powerful people attached to the NFL, people at the top of these major conferences, to just get a handle on college football.
Which this conversation, it has to happen.
Of course it does, yeah.
Like this, without this conversation, we are riding the Titanic.
Yeah.
This is not sustainable, man.
I mean, it's out of control right now. It's like we get transfer portal and like NIL and coaching rules like done on the fly. You know what I mean? Like
in your lifetime, did you ever think you would come to a moment in college sports? And I'm not knocking this. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just telling you what happened. Where you have a head coach stand up at a podium and say how much a quarterback costs.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Like that is unheard of, man. But it happens now.
Yeah.
Coach from Nebraska, he's like, oh man, that's that costs this nowadays.
Yeah.
And he wasn't lying.
No. Well, you see it on Twitter all the time. Like even in the basketball portal.
Yeah.
It's like guys are costing like $1 million.
Unreal, man.
That's more than like NFL vet minimum almost. This is crazy.
Yeah, there's no longer amateur athletics. This has to be what it is. This is professional sports. And what professional means to me, and maybe some other people out there, if you get paid for the service, you're a pro at it.
Right.
If you're not getting paid, you're amateur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm an amateur at 6. I'm experienced, but I'm an amateur. Never been paid for it. See, that's one I would direct at you, but I took it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Neely always comes out of left field with this zinger.
You got to, man. The people crave it.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Let's throw it to the Toyota chat then.
Chat time.
What do you guys got for us?
Look at that Toyota pulling up.
Look at that thing, man, with the DNVR logo on it too.
Yeah, then it just drove off.
Well, we might as well get this one out of the way.
Anything you can tell us on Cormani?
I can't. Like, I can only report what I see.
Right.
And if I don't see something, I can't say anything. So I literally have no report on it.
He is there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have seen him, like in the building or in Boulder or in Colorado, but like football wise, preparation for the spring game, I haven't seen it.
There you go. Is he injured?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
And again, to you and to the chat, that doesn't mean he's not.
Right.
I did not see like the injury report this week.
There you go. That's all the Cormani stuff we're hitting today. Brian says, I know you're probably tired of...
This was just another Cormani.
Oh, is it another one?
There's a real one.
There we go. Jays, what's up, man? I seen Bossman Diao was performing at the spring game concert. Is that true? And do y'all actually know one of his songs? He's a Florida rapper blowing up. He is fire. He going to turn up for real. I do not know who that is. I apologize.
He is on the list, and there are still some other artists to be named. Of course, they're not on Lil Wayne. Who else is on Lil Wayne's level but Lil Wayne?
Right.
But there are other performers that are coming as well. And even for the Thursday night wide open talent show, there are some celebrity judges for that coming. So it's spring week. That black and gold week is going to be killer.
I was driving up to Boulder today, and I get off I-25 and go on 36, and there's a billboard for Lil Wayne performing at the CU Event Center at the spring week. Crazy. D-Lo, sorry, I don't know who he is, man. I don't know what you want from me.
yeah, Jake is hard rock, man.
How does Jimmy look?
Horn Jr.?
Jimmy Horn Jr.
Looking good. He was has been limited in some of the practices to get over a little nagging issue, but he was out there today in pads, and Jimmy Horn is going to be a guy that makes an impact on this offense out of the slot. Shador loves trust.
Yeah, that's what he told us.
Yeah, he loves trust, man. And he trusts Jimmy Horn. You look at the trust that he developed with a walk-on wide receiver converted to tight end. When things weren't there over the top, he was finding Mikey Harrison, and I think that what Jimmy brings to the table out of the slot is the potential, which is actual, the potential for yards after the catch. Yeah. He is kind of like Dylan Edwards. If that first person doesn't get him, the next 10 ain't getting him. Yeah, he's gone. So I'm looking forward to what Jimmy Horn does in this offense. He still has that great relationship with Zay Weaver. He was there to support Zay at his pro day. Jimmy Horn will make some noise for the Colorado Buffs this season.
There you go. Big Teasy asks Neely, has there been any issues with some of the players overindulging with the cafeteria food and not being in the best shape?
Not at all. Not at all. They are, in fact, encouraged to eat. The nutritionist staff is superb. So, Jake, you've been there at practice and post-practice, and they have the smoothies.
Yep.
Those smoothies are player designed, based on what you're trying to accomplish. Chef Solomon does a great job in the cafeteria across the board, making sure the carbs, the calories. Even when you go down the line, there are little cards there will tell you what's in this meal. And so, although it seems like there's an overindulgence, it's really not from a scientific standpoint. It's what the guys need to be going through camp and to be in the weight room.
You just said it there. It's like a science, right?
It absolutely
they got it all
is.
figured out.
I think I'm gonna. I appreciate that question. I'm going to grab the nutritionist people, sit down and do a segment with them because they really do, detail this thing out.
Hell yeah.
There's nothing out there that's bad for these guys, even if it looks bad. And no matter how much we talk about how good it is, it's actually good for them.
Kellen asks, well off showing guys in yellow getting hit. What does the yellow practice jerseys mean?
Yellow means there's some kind of lingering, nagging issue. It's not a total non-contact, jersey such as what the quarterbacks wear, but there's something with that player for a particular reason or not. So it does not mean like, hey, don't touch him at all, or else they wouldn't be out there because you're gonna get touched in football. But there's something to it, and there are certain players now. If Travis Hunter's in a yellow jersey, you're not even gonna high five him. Yeah, you're like you're not even gonna take the risk. But that's just the aspect of football. So there is some contact to it.
There you go. Eric with the question for Neely. Thoughts on Shelemai, a.k.a. Bossy, and Coach Prime's daughter entering the transfer portal and being assigned Coach Prime might be on his way out. Personally, it is an insane take.
Yeah, to associate those, that is a Stretch Armstrong stretch.
That's some gymnastics style.
Yeah, I wish I was that flexible to go from daughter in the portal to now he's leaving. I don't get that at all. I have not talked to Coach Prime or Bossy about that, but I would say this. I think it, again, is what the portal is for. It's about opportunity. And wishing her the best in that decision. I'm sure she'll land somewhere. I think she is a talent at guard. She can really shoot the three. But if her opportunity to get playing time in Colorado was limited, why would she not explore the portal? That's what it's for.
Yep.
And I say the same thing about football. People look at this portal, and I know it's new to us, Jake. It shouldn't be new because we've now been doing it a couple seasons. But people associate negativity with the portal.
Right, yes.
And it is not a negative thing. It doesn't mean you're a bad player. It doesn't mean you're a bad program. It doesn't mean something was wrong. You now have the right as a student athlete to pursue a better opportunity for yourself without it being punitive.
Yep.
If I was a marketing major, I could transfer without it being punitive. Now athletes can do the same thing. It doesn't mean anything's wrong. So to say that his daughter being in the portal means he's leaving, like that's insane. Like I can't correlate those two things.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Let's do super chats at the end.
Okay, super chats at the end. We will get to those. We see you guys out there. Nicholas asks, how is Shador and his new weapons looking?
Shador is 100%. There are no back issues. He's walking fine, running fine, doing all his weight room mechanics fine. He is active and engaged in the quarterback room with Coach Shermer. I would say he is just as healthy as he's ever been. As far as his new weapons, the new weapons really aren't here yet. The full clip, if I can use that bullet analogy.
Yeah.
So we'll see that as we get into true summer fall camp. But I know he's looking forward to them coming, and I know those guys, because they're coming for programs where they know what to expect, they're not going to show up not ready to play. Like they're going to be ready to engage with them.
Dude, Nicholas's other question. What have you seen from LeJontay Wester so far?
It's there. It's there. You know, I'm just still. Let's talk after the scrimmage and after next week because I want to get to pads.
Right.
You know, I think that's the real separator. Everybody can throw weight around in the weight room. Everybody, you know, can look good doing drills. But when you get those pads on, that's what starts to separate. I think there's a lot of promise and a lot of upside there. I think he is as advertised and will offer something to this team. But once we get past this whizzing by stage and thud stage, that's when you're going to know, you know, who's here and who's not. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking forward to seeing it, man.
Hell yeah. Rose asks, how well are they defending slants and stopping the run in practice?
To be expected, much better than last year. You know, that slant was just killing us.
Yeah.
In games last year is like shit, man. But it was also, I think last year, as much as the slant was killing us in certain games, had we stopped the slant, the deep ball was going to kill us.
Right.
It was a pick your poison, and we chose the poison of giving up things underneath than big plays over the top. But this defense, secondary linebackers, which will also have some additions to it, are in better shape and better position and better understanding of the installs than we were last year. So I'm looking for an improvement there. I think, Jake, you know, this is not a question, but it just popped in my head. Uh-huh. I think there were 3 clear areas that we needed to improve. I'm not counting the run game because we just didn't do a lot of design runs.
Yeah. Offensive
line, defensive line, tight end play. I think those were the 3 things last year that we had to just address. I believe we have addressed the line issues on both sides of the ball, the trenches, and now I'm just waiting to see the tight end who's going to develop and really be the starter in that group. And then how will they be utilized?
Yeah.
You know, will they be utilized from a blocking standpoint? You know, are we just going to, you know, forgo the tight end some plays and just have an extra receiver out there?
Mm-hmm. Let's do Ivan next. What are your thoughts on Trevor Woods as a ball player and his contribution to the team? He's a guy who always gets this chat riled up, man.
Man, everybody, I don't know why people just jump on Trevor Woods.
It's crazy, isn't it?
You know, it's like they say, oh, man, he can't do that. He's too small. He is no smaller or bigger, you know, than the other linebackers in the room. They're more chiseled. You know, they have more time in the weight room. But when you look at a size standpoint, he's probably 5 to 8 pounds away from being where you just want him to be.
Yeah.
But as I said before, on this program, our joint broadcast and on my own, I think his IQ makes up for a lot of that. Mm-hmm. Like, the dude is a ball player up here first. Like, he knows where to be, when to get there, how to get there. His fundamentals at tackling versus just, you know, leading with a shoulder or something. I'm looking forward to Trevor making noise on his team. And I think you heard Coach Hart, the linebacker coach, say that this week at his presser is like Bentley and Trevor are right there together.
Yep.
But everybody always comes back when I say this, the chat starts going, "Oh, he's too small. He's too small." All right, you stand there and let him hit you.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as small as y'all are making him out to be. I think he's a football player.
Yeah, man. We spent all day Tuesday talking about this, so put some respect on Trevor's name.
Yeah,
Come
man.
on, guys.
Say it with your chest.
Sean asks, are y'all doing anything at the bar for the draft? I'll be back in town that day and was hoping to pull up on y'all. I actually don't know the exact plans.
I think the first day of the draft we're at Breck Brew House, and then I think the next day is down at the bar.
Okay.
That was the voice of God.
That was the FTP. Yeah, we're doing a draft pod right after this too. So come hang out and
to the haters out there who think that somehow Colorado football or Coach Prime has fallen off because ESPN is not covering our spring game live this year, realize and appreciate that the NFL draft goes through the weekend. And they're not showing anybody's spring game during that time because they're covering the draft. And for people who will say, oh, man, you know, y'all fall off, you're just on the Pac-12 network, please also keep in mind that until the final nail is in the coffin and the final scoop of dirt is on the grave, the Pac-12 is still open for business.
Yes.
So this ain't Coach Prime is falling off. This ain't a hate thing. This is April 2024 thing. It's a calendar thing.
Last one from the Toyota chat before we get to questions. Two favorite uncles asked, just for clarity, why do the twos go against the ones and not ones going against ones?
Great question. Coach Prime loves for the twos to go against the ones because he believes that the twos believes they should be ones. Mm-hmm. And here's your opportunity to damn prove it, even though he says darn. He doesn't say damn. That's my word, not his. So he loves twos against the ones. Now, there are times in practices, particularly you get to August, that he'll get fed up or something, go, oh, come on, ones against ones. So you do see it.
Yeah.
And the ones, of course, love that as well. But he loves to see that two defense go against the one offense, so those guys can show and prove I should be a one versus having them go against the threes, which doesn't necessarily prove anything.
It's competition.
From a football standpoint. Yeah, it's exactly. I guess I could have just said that.
It's breeding competition. Yeah. Like, any way you can get away with that at practice, even not even on the field, like any way you can breed competition within your team, you're going to get better from it.
And let me say this. You sparked a thought based on competition. I love what I'm seeing when it's 7-on-7s taking place or on air taking place. I love the D-line, O-line, iron sharpen, iron sessions, man. Like, those guys are competing.
Yeah.
They're competing. They are having designed double teams to get through, designed, run sessions or pass sessions. I'm loving the spirit down there, man.
All right, Super Chats. East Coast Kev asked, question for Neely. How has Warren Sapp's presence impacted the team so far? How are the players reacting to him?
One, he's not a stranger to most of them because he visited several times last season. Yep. But to just have another gold jacket in the building that they can talk to and learn from, and as Sapp will tell you, you hear him before you see him. Like, you can hear his big voice around the corner.
Yep.
And so just like I was saying about Coach George earlier, it really doesn't matter whether they're directly coaching a position or not. Their presence in the building and being able to have conversations with young people and tell them how to do it and how to get there, you can't put a price on it. So Sapp is at home, man. The players are loving him, and he's loving being here.
Hell yeah, man.
I got another Sapp thing I can drop too.
There you go.
You ready to hear it?
Oh yeah.
I'm about to announce it right now.
Yeah.
Coming soon. There's going to be a weekly Sapp and Neely sit down.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's coming soon.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Those are two personalities right there. Might have to put a rating on it. Hide your kids.
Just let Sapp know. Let Coach Sapp know. He's got to make an appearance on the DNVR pregame show once before the season.
That is guaranteed.
Okay.
No, that is guaranteed.
Cool.
That, my friend, is guaranteed, particularly when, we do our joint show from the facility.
Yes.
That is guaranteed.
Hell yeah. Lone Wolf with the Super Chat. I'm a Mississippi native. Thinking about coming to the game the end of November. Is it normally snowing around that time?
We didn't have a snow game last year.
No, we didn't. And
yeah, it snowed the spring game, but we didn't have from August 31st all the way, to the last home game or road game. We didn't have an active snow game or rain.
I think our first snowfall came pretty late this year.
Yeah,
it was well into December, maybe even January. But I mean, you never really know with Colorado, Lone Wolf. To answer your question, just bring an extra jacket. Bring a beanie as well. Just be prepared. You never really know, and the weather can flip on a dime for better or worse. So.
And I would say come and enjoy it because even if it does quote unquote snow,
you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, it's not like it's snowing is minus 15.
Yeah,
and with the lack of moisture in the air, it's not that frigid cold. Mm-hmm. But talk about people coming from places. We did Coach Prime's book event.
Yeah.
There was a group who flew in from L.A. from it, a group from Jackson, Mississippi for it. And yesterday, Pat Shermer and I, the offense coordinator, were doing our sit-down, just weekly powwow. And Rick George, the athletic director, walked in a family from Japan that was here to visit.
Wow.
Like Japan.
Yeah.
To come see Colorado football. And then not football people, like fan people.
Yeah. That's one thing, since I've been on this beat, Buff Nation really is, it's not even a nation. It's worldwide, bro.
Yeah, Buff International.
Yeah, for real. Big Teasy with the super sticker, my man. Hippo character with stars growing in his eyes, pumping his arms in the air with the word hype pulsating above him. Let's go, man.
Nothing wrong with it. If you can ever work pulsating into a sentence.
I knew that word was going to get you.
It's just a favorite. This is a great word, pulsating.
Lone Wolf, Unc, do you know if there will be a new theme song?
He has in the past switched songs. He has not mentioned on the record if he's doing that this year or not. I would, let's see, which way would I bet? I would bet for a change. I would, he likes changing things from time to time, so I think there'll be a change.
I think there's not that he needs a change, but there's got to be a change with the new energy. With
exactly. It's all things considered. I think he'll change.
Yeah. Lone Wolf again. Will there be more L's and D's on the jerseys this year, other than the favorites?
I think there's a reset. One, as in Coach Phillips in his receiver room, all the way up to Coach Prime, they don't do favorites. I know what you mean when you say favorite, the people that we would think would be. But I think there's going to be a hard reset on that. I think even if you were a D or an L last year, that you're not automatically one this year. Because as Coach Prime would tell you, every leader had a dog, every dog ain't a leader. I think you're going to see that kind of thing emerge second week of August, third week of August.
All right. Stay tuned. Big Teasy with the super chat. Are we keeping the Alyssa Cam going on the show on Fridays for questions? I just made that up. We got to keep the FDP out the portal. The FDP is never going to enter the portal. She's here.
Yeah, she's here. And I love my seat because I get to look at the Funky Dope producer all the time. She's like right there. Yeah, she's right. She's like a couple screens and lights anyway, but she's there. But there should be a constant feed. Although you probably want to stay off camera because you get to like snack and take your shoes off and
Yeah, I don't know if the chat's ready for Alyssa's true reactions to what they have to say.
Yeah, we do get to see her reaction face. Like some of y'all's questions that she put on the screen. I don't know if she's putting them up there happily. She's like, what
Don Peasy with the big $20 super chat. Appreciate you, man. What do you think about a collective cap? Every team gets a set X amount of max money from collectives. If any school exceeds it, they get fined, in which the fine amount goes into a pot that is divided out to smaller schools. That's interesting.
It is interesting. You lost me on the last part.
Basically, if you go over your cap,
I'm with you. I just don't think capitalism is divisible.
Okay.
I do think that much like we talked about this super group formation, I do think that just like you have salary caps in the NFL, that you could see a cap coming just to keep, parity amongst those big 20 or big 40 schools. But as far as those people giving money to those programs and excess being divided up and given to lower programs, man, good luck in Russia with that, or Cuba or something. I don't think that's going to happen in America.
That's a great point, actually. Yeah. DeAndre Campbell says, or super sticker, lemon character raising both his thumbs up. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Willie Waka Whistle. That's a great name.
That is, man. That's pulsating.
Oh, God. How is Quincy Wiggins doing on defense?
I think again, as a group and individually, like, everybody's ahead of schedule. But here's my but. We've only been in pads a couple of days, and we still haven't been doing full contact. So I think that's going to be the separator and what defines us.
All right. Last one. Atlanta, stay focused and informed. Asks, any LLBs pulling up in the Toyota #transfer portal? Yeah, man. Coach Prime is going to be he's going to go get a linebacker.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm pretty confident in that. It's almost a virtual lock. I think he's going to go get a linebacker.
I totally agree, and I say the same thing for offensive linemen. And probably one or two receivers, but more so for special teams kind of vibe than actual receiving core. I think your receiving core one is pretty set, and then you want to develop twos where they can go in so somebody's just not fatigued. And I mean, look at our twos. Like, I would put Mario Miller right now in the two group.
Right.
He'd be a one anywhere else in America.
Yeah.
But that just speaks to the depth that we have and the talent we have coming. But no, this May portal, if I can call it that, I think is going to be beneficial for Colorado.
Definitely. Again, I said it earlier in the show. We are like 11 days away from the portal entering. It's crazy.
Yeah. So that's 11 days of when we get to the 11th day, the 12th day is, what the hell is going on? He left. I can't believe he left.
I know.
Like, dude, The portal ain't a negative thing. Just because and that door is going to swing both ways. I've said this several times. We're going to have some people that are going to leave this program. We're going to have some people that are going to join this program. But the measuring stick is who can help us this season.
Yep.
If you can help us win this season, that's what you're building your roster to be made up of.
Wonderfully said, man. Another banger, bro.
Yeah, man. I think we should just keep 2 chairs here.
I mean, we usually do, but you can just take the other guy's seat at this point.
Yeah, like who needs them? I mean, I like him, but I don't need him. Yeah.
No,
just kidding,
man.
RK. Whatever you're doing right now, we miss you, bro.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Well, we had you remotely a few weeks ago during spring break, but we're due for a 3-man full tripod show.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to get the tripod back together in the same place, same time. I'm here all month.
Yeah.
I'm not going home till a couple days after the spring game. So we got all May to have the trifecta in place.
Well, we'll work out something
with the
next
voice
week
of God
too.
in the background. Oh, yeah, we we have to.
Of course.
We got a scrimmage Saturday, 3 practices next week. We got to get the 3 of us together next week.
Definitely. Content's only going to be ramping up, guys, as we go through this month. Again, the portal will be opening, but this spring game,
someone just said, "Oh snap!" Unc just said Cormani might leave. I did not say that.
He did not say that.
where did you hear that?
He did not say
but okay.
That. Alrighty, man. Subscribe to the pregame show. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Yeah, and drink like Breck beer, drive Toyotas, go to Raising Cane's. Like do
True
all that
fan
stuff.
travel, all that stuff. Another great show, man. Appreciate you for coming down.
Bam.
We'll see you guys next time. Go Buffs.
Go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.